Right, so welcome everyone. This is our strength and conditioning class. So today, we'll be doing slightly different mode. We will incorporate a little bit of more leg work. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I do have about four super giant sets. I'm gonna call them supersets. Supersets is usually just two movements. So giant sets is gonna be three or more. So I have about four of those. And then just reminders, everyone that's enrolled in this class currently, you should be have enrolled to the summer, unless you have a conflict. I think I got an email, someone may be having a conflict, but other than that, you should be good to go. Um, but yeah, so let's get started with our warm up. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just looking left to right. Hopefully I don't pull anything. Just, doing my warm up today. Pulled a back muscle last week, but it took about 3 days for it to kind of fizzle away, and I don't feel it anymore. Up and down, up and down. So we have this week and next week. And then we're done with our spring term. So next week's our last week. Next circles. Then after next week, we have a week off, about 10 days off, because summer term begins on the Tuesday after Veterans Day. Let me know if you have any questions regarding that. So switch.
You mean Memorial Day?
Memorial. I always confuse Veterans, Memorial, and Labor. It's my apologies. Memorial Day. Veterans is in November, right? Or is that?
Yes, that's my sister's birthday.
Yeah, and Labor Day is in early September.
Yes.
And 4th of July is 4th of July. Yeah, I always, um, those two, I forget. For the longest time, I would forget about Veterans Day as a holiday. So it was a nice surprise in November when you got to get a random day off school before Thanksgiving break. Memorial Day. Yes, so after the Tuesday after Memorial Day, that's when we start summer. Switch. That weekend, I may take one of my sophomores that's about to transfer to go check out his future school. Um, I think he committed to Chico State, and that's where I went to school. So bring that right arm over. So yeah, pretty brave kid. He committed to it without ever going to it. He's just kind of taking my word for it. Um, and yeah, so I hope he enjoys it. I told him he better take advantage of all the nature that area has to explore or has to offer. Um, that's one thing I do regret is not really being super outdoorsy. I should have joined more excursions and trips out there. Would have been really fun. Do a slight front rotation. Good weekend. on a very long Saturday. I woke up. I don't know why. I maybe because of the competition we had, but I woke up around 3:45 and couldn't go back to sleep. So around maybe like 5:15, I just decided to get up and get my day started. So I headed out the door around 5:45 and went for a 10-mile run. Let's go ahead and do our big hula hoops. So yeah, so did a comfortable 10-mile run, and about the first 6 miles were good. And then my left calf just got a little tight and it remained tight the rest of the run. Um, but yeah, I got home by around 7:15 and I had to be out the door at 10. So it was kind of nice, chill morning. Um, and then yeah, we went to the race and I had I had 5 athletes compete this weekend. So out of the five, one of them is competing this Saturday, and another one is an alternate. So yeah, so I have 2 athletes this weekend going into what could possibly be our last race of the season. So, all right, let's go ahead and do our quad stretch. Yeah. So I'll get to enjoy my Saturdays for about maybe 2 weeks, 2 weekends. And then we start with yeah, when summer begins, we'll have our Saturday morning classes. So but we're done with that early, so which and the Saturday class is actually a nice stretching mobility class. If you do have a foam roller, go look for that because we will be using the foam roller on the body tune-up class on Saturday mornings. And if you don't, then I recommend getting one over the next 3 weeks or so. Yeah, Saturday body tune-up. All right, hamstring stretch. So slide bend at the knees. Slide your hands down your shins. Bring your chest towards your knees. Deep breaths.
I was wondering if you were at that half marathon in LA. Did you run it?
No, was that yesterday or Saturday?
It was this weekend.
I think there was one. I thought there was one in Huntington, but where was it? Yeah, no, I wasn't there for that. I know I had one of my athletes. There was a 5K yesterday in Boyle Heights. Um, but yeah, I'm not outside of that race. I wasn't too familiar with the race schedule for this weekend.
They had OC Marathon all over Newport,
Oh,
Costa
yeah,
Mesa. It was all over. I ran into the roadblocks.
drop down. Yeah, so that makes sense. I remember the Surf City one is in February, and I think the OC one was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, and the next big one, I think that's kind of local, would be Long Beach, but that's not until October. I think. Yeah, I was asked to do one in Southgate this weekend, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't want to stress about doing my own race and then rushing to the team's race after. So, and then let's swivel left and right. There's one in Long Beach that some of my athletes are doing at the end of the month. I think it's called the Wrigley Run. Yeah, but lots of races. I know 4th of July morning, there's races everywhere too. So be ready for some traffic that morning, possibly. So, all right, let's go ahead and grab your items. Dumbbells, we'll need dumbbells. If you have a kettlebell, you can do a kettlebell. It just helps us with an exercise or two. Yoga mat because we will be on the floor, and then resistance bands if you do have those. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to get those, and then I'll start planning this workout. Ready. So let me get my stuff. All right, so the first set is gonna be 4 exercises, and we're gonna go with 3 rounds. Okay, so I only have 4 giant sets for today, but we're gonna do each round 3 times instead of 2, just to focus on those muscle groups a little bit more. So we're gonna do a type of goblet squat. So kettlebell or dumbbell up here. We're doing some goblet squats with a little bit more detail. Then we're gonna do our oblique standing crunch. So where we're here, I'm gonna bring that shoulder, that elbow to that knee. Then we're gonna go ahead and do our alternating lunges. So dumbbells at each side, alternating. And then we're gonna superset that with a dumbbell Arnold press. So curl, rotate to shoulder press. Okay. So 4 exercises, 3 rounds. All right. So the first one's gonna be a goblet 1 1/4 squats. Okay. So right here, standing shoulder width apart. So 1 1/4 or quarter and 1. So it's gonna be down, quarter up, back down and up. And that's 1. So it should look something like this. Okay, so there's a little pump, back down, and you're gonna feel that right on those quads. Alrighty, folks, ready? So we're aiming for each round for 10 to 12. Ready? Okay, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm ready. So, now with these, we'll take about 30 to 40 seconds rest. Okay. We took 1 set and I'm warm already. Okay. All right. So the next one, we're gonna go with our. Let's go with the dumbbell curl to shoulder press. Okay. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. So 10 to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going for 10. And 10. Like I said, 30 to 40 seconds rest. Use that time to stretch a little bit or grab some water. We're gonna go with our alternating reverse lunges. Remember that, we're going back here and alternating. We're gonna be doing 6 on each leg. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Go with our crunches next, so about 20 seconds. And then we'll take a minute break in between sets. There's gonna be a standing oblique crunch. All right, we're gonna do 10 on each leg or each side. 3, 2, 1, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so this is where we get our 1 minute break, and we're gonna move on to our our goblet squats. Okay, so we're doing 3 rounds of this one. So anyone do anything fun this weekend? Anything different? The rain caught me by surprise. The forecast just said 20% chance of like rain and I was in Mission Viejo most of Saturday and it was raining about half of the day. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't take clothes for that, so I was pretty wet most of the day. All right, so if that first set of goblet squats was fairly easy, then I recommend you getting heavier weights for the second round. Okay, so if you have a heavier set of dumbbells, grab that and let's begin. So 10 to 12, 1 1/4. Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Keeping track of my progress here. Another 15 seconds. So we're doing our Arnold press, dumbbell curl to Arnold press. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, going for 12, 11, and then 12. 40 seconds rest. Right. We're going with our reverse lunges. So 6 on each leg. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 6. And the last one's gonna be our set of standing oblique crunches. Okay, and then we have one more round of all of that, and then we'll move on to our next one. So. All right, ready? Standing oblique crunches. We're doing 10 on each side. 3, 2, 1, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, this is where we get our minute break. We have 20 seconds. So again, we're going to our last set of our goblet squats. How do you folks feel about 2 sets or 3 sets? Do you guys prefer one over the other? Is 2 sets too little or 3 sets too much?
Flexible.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes if you start off with a really light weight on that first set, by the time you're doing the second set, you're like, all right, I'm feeling good now. And then we move on to something new. Then the leg or that muscle group doesn't get enough blood or of a pump going in there. So that's why I personally do 3 or 4 sets. 2 sets I don't do too often. But I know it does, if we do 2 sets, there's more of a variety of exercises, so there's its pros and its cons. All right, our last set of our goblet spots. Okay. You folks ready? You can get started. Okay, go. All right, I see the chat says a lot of 3. So, okay, let's go with 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Going. We have our dumbbell Arnold press after. So. Another 15 seconds. I think I'm gonna be going camping in about next weekend, about 10 days. Going camping again. Ready? Okay, go. Remember, curl to an Arnold press. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 40 seconds rest. Reverse lunges. Number 6 on each leg. 3, 2, 1, go. Very good. All right. We have next our oblique crunch. And then after that, we'll move on to other movement. Okay. All right. Let's go with our oblique crunch, 10 on each leg. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome work. Okay. All right, so the next one, next set, 3 rounds. This one is going to be a complex movement, okay? So what I mean by that, a complex is just gonna be, pretty much we're trying to work out as many muscle groups as we can within a lift. So this is gonna be a deadlift, comboed with a row, okay? So what that's gonna look like is you're gonna have your dumbbells here at your side. We're gonna do a deadlift, which is bringing your dumbbells close to your legs as you're almost kind of squatting down. And then you come up here, and then you bend over and do a row, okay? So it's gonna be a deadlift pretty much, and then comboed with the row. So it's gonna look like this. Okay. That makes sense. So it's just gonna reduce the amount of time that we're lifting. And so we're doing pretty much 2 lifts in 1 exercise. We're gonna do that and we're gonna superset that with some cross kicks. So this is more of a cardio movement and it's good for the hamstrings. We're just gonna go opposite foot to opposite hand. And we're gonna do that for time. Okay? We'll do that for about 30 to 40 seconds. So just those 2 movements right now. So okay. We're gonna do 10 of the combo deadlift rows. Okay. Right. And if it just feels too tricky and feels odd to do them, then we could just separate them into 2 different lifts. Okay. Ready? Here you go. So down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How was that? Good? Is that confusing? Did people stutter? Kind of not sure what movement they were doing at the moment. Yeah, but that's a quick way to get pretty much to working out the legs and your back at the same time. So, and when you're also coming back up, you're working on that lower back too. So yeah, working pretty much a full body movement besides your arms. All right, ready for our cross? So again, we're just gonna go opposite here. And you could go as slow as you want to, or you could go a little bit faster if you want. Just get more of a tempo, okay? So up to you. 40 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. So opposite hand, well, foot to opposite hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, that's one set, so 1 minute rest. Here we go with our rows and our deadlift, okay? Ready? So 10 of those. Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go with our cross kicks. Ready? 40 seconds. Hands up. Okay, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 1 minute rest. Grab some water. Fifteen seconds. And then to our last set of the deadlift rows. All right, here we go. Last set. Here you go. So deadlift and row. Deadlift, row. Deadlift, row. Deadlift, row. Deadlift, one. That last one incorrectly. 10. Ugh. Yeah, if you're not engaged, you're gonna catch yourself doing a different movement in between. Ooh. Does anyone find that one challenging or causes pain? It's good for everyone. All right. Start with our cross kicks in 10 seconds. Hey, Ella.
No pain, just challenging.
Yeah, I find it confusing if you're not paying attention. Like on the
Yeah.
last time, I was here and then I was like, I wasn't sure what I was doing. But yeah.
Took me a while to figure it out, but I got it toward the
Yeah.
end.
All right, good. All righty. Yes, that's one that's gonna save you some time if you're short on time with workouts. All right, cross kicks. Okay, go. Remember, you could go faster if you like. Fifteen more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. All right. Very good. Grab some water. We have our minute break. Okay, so our next one is gonna be a crab walk. So if you have your mini bands, those are gonna go around the ankles, and that's gonna be your crab walks there. Okay, we're gonna superset that with lateral and shoulder front raises, working out the shoulders. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead do tricep extensions here, and that's gonna complete that giant set. Okay, so crab walks, working on our adductors, just the muscles outside on the sides of our legs, shoulders, and triceps. Okay, so 3 rounds of that. We'll see where that gets us to. So if you have those mini bands, I have a pretty big leg workout tomorrow, so I'm gonna skip the mini bands for right now. But yeah, if you have the mini bands, go ahead and put those around your ankles or right below your knees. Ready? We're gonna go for 40 seconds back and forth. So just keep going, keep switching if you hit a wall. Ready? There you go. So stay low. Okay, keep your hips low. We got 12 more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one, time. Ooh. You do those fast enough, it'll catch you out of breath. So next we have our lateral to front raises. So here. We're doing 8 of each. Grab those dumbbells. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Very good. All right. So the tricep extensions, you could do those tricep kickbacks, which is bent over, elbows back and extend. Or you could do them, I'm about to do them on the chair. You could do them standing or on the chair for the overhead. So I just kind of, match my dumbbells so that they're not gliding over here. Make sure they're not near my head or my neck. And just extend up. Okay, so the elbows really don't move. You're just extending your forearms, your wrists up from back here towards the sky. Alrighty, ready? We're doing 12 of those. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome. 1 minute. Some water. Have our crab walks. About 40 seconds left. Just give yourself space. This is 40 seconds continuous. Ah. All right, I'm gonna face this way now, switch it up a little bit. 3, 2, 1, go. 40 seconds. Your hips low. If you feel like it's getting easier, it might be because your hips are coming up. 10 more seconds. Challenge yourself. 3, 2, 1, time. Woo! Those glutes. Seconds. We're going to lateral front raises. Ready? And those dumbbells. 3, 2, 1, go. So 8 lateral, 8 forward, 2, 2, 3, 3. Eight, 8. Overhead tricep extensions next. How's everyone doing? Pretty good. $15. Good job. I hope no one's passed out. So, all right, here we go. Overhead tricep. Give me 12. Okay, go. One, 2, 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo. All righty. So I think I'm gonna cut this one to 2 sets, just so we could do a little bit of something else. So for the last set, we're actually gonna be on the floor. The one muscle group we haven't worked with is our chest, so we'll do some modified push-ups or regular push-ups. And then we'll do some glute bridges to target the glutes a little bit more, okay? So gonna set up your yoga mat. Get that going. And we'll do 2 rounds of this last set, so. I think everyone's doing pretty well right now. So we're gonna do 10 modified push-ups, and then we're gonna do 10 glute bridges with the 3-second hold at that top position, okay? All right, so position yourself. You're on the floor. So give me 10, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Regular or modified? You pick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Rotate. So remember these. You're in a sit-up position. Glute squeeze and then back down. So you squeeze for 3 seconds, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go. Squeeze. Down. Squeeze. Down. Five. 6, 7. Squeezing. 9. And 10. Awesome. All right. 40 seconds rest, and then we'll go and repeat that into our last one. Set. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go. Push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Bring your glutes towards your heels. Just stretch a little bit. Relax. And switch back into our last exercise, which is our glute bridges. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 3-second hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Be right back. Find that chair so you could cool down. Give me 1 second. Expecting a delivery, so that was it. Okay. Let's go ahead and stretch it out. Let's go ahead, sit on that left hand, bring that right hand over. How's everyone doing? Okay.
Doing good.
Good. I'm glad. Oh, switch. Go ahead and do our chair trunk rotation. So grab a hold of that back rest, rotate. Switch. Rotate here. All right, let's last one performance stretch. So left ankle on that right knee. Gentle push down on that left knee. Hug that leg. And switch, right ankle on that left knee. Push down on that right knee. Gentle push. And let's bring it up. Alrighty. Should do it for today. Any questions before we head out? We have, like I said, this week and next week, and then we have a 1 week off before summer begins. But yeah, any questions? No questions? All right, Ella, Miss Noor, Josefina, Sharice, Miss Wynn, Olivia, Lisa, Debbie, Jen, Josefina, Sherry, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye,
Thanks,
Julio. Thank you.
Julio.
All right, folks, you guys enjoy your Monday, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Adiós,
Yeah.
adiós, Julio. Adiós, Julio.
Adios.
Bye,
Buenos dias.
Julio.
All right,
No,
bye-bye.
no heavy Cinco de Mayo parties.
Oh, no. Oh, that's today, right? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
It went over my head. Yeah.
yeah, mine too.
20 years ago, I would have been like, woo, let's go.
I
And
thought you were gonna talk about that. I'm surprised.
no, yeah, that
No, I don't do it.
I'm a dad now. I don't
Yeah.
do that. All right, folks.
All right, Julio.
Bye.
Bye-bye.